everybody, welcome to my channel, For Goodness Keepsakes. My name is Pam, and today I want to share with you one of my favorite Christmas traditions and the pattern that goes with it for these mini Christmas stockings. So my favorite part about these stockings is, besides the fact that they work up super quick, is that they're actually like a really nice size. They're really nice because you could fit something like a gift card right in there. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's like the perfect size for a gift card, or you could put candy in them. And what I do with them is I use them as Advent stockings. So Advent, usually the 12 days leading up to Christmas, that kind of thing. But what I do is, because I love Christmas and I'm excessive, is I did 24 of these stockings, and each one has a number on them. I actually do them in order. I don't do them randomly because, well, I have a schedule and I want to make sure that we can do what's in the stocking. But I have 24 stockings, and on each one a number correlating to each of the 24 days leading up to Christmas. I actually made these little new tags because I had old tags in there and I just remade them. So each of those stockings has a tag in it that the kids, when they find that stocking for the day, can pull the tag out and it has an activity on it. So like this says, you know, gingerbread houses or men. So making gingerbread is one of the activities we do. And I've got mostly themed crafts in here, because what's nice about just doing a themed craft rather than a specific one is that you're not, you can reuse the tags every year and you don't have to have the exact materials or things like that. You can get as creative as you want. So for instance, this one says ornament crafts. And so we can make ornaments out of like anything. Like we could do like cinnamon dough ornaments, or we can do just like a regular ball ornament from like Dollar Tree that we've like marbled some color inside, whatever. Snowman crafts, you know, I've got tree themed crafts, nativity crafts. And then I also have activities in, so like Hot Christmas in a movie, yeah. Hot cocoa in a Christmas movie is one of the things that we do, because honestly, we don't watch a lot of TV in this house, so watching like a holiday movie is kind of like a really fun thing for us to do. This is kind of fun too. Christmas caroling, dress to impress, just for fun. Baking Christmas cookies is in here. Oh, and then we always have, whoops. And what I tend to save for the last one, and the kids generally know, is that on Christmas Eve, we tend to do a Christmas tea party. That's something my boys and my girls love. We actually get out like the tiered displays, make fancy little things, and it's never anything super extravagant, but it's definitely fun and definitely not something we eat rarely at all, actually. So I have to put these new tags in my stockings once I dig them out of storage for Christmas this year. And then I have wooden tags hanging off the outside with numbers on them. Now my stockings, though, are made out of like a solid red color and a solid white cuff, which you can do with these stockings. I'm going to show you how to do it with the color changes, though, to make it look like it has a toe and a heel. You know, all of these fun colors, which I'll apologize in advance. I tried to adjust the exposure because this is the one that I make for you. And I chose black for the cuff because I have no brain, okay? So I did increase the exposure so you could see the stitches better, because it's hard to see black. I don't know why I decided to do that. I'm sorry. But they are really easy to make. If you want the pattern for this, I have the written pattern for sale in my Etsy shop, For Goodness Keepsakes. That link is in the description box below. You can do 12 of these and do like 12 days leading up to Christmas, and all you got to do is put like a little bit of candy in them, like one piece for each of your kids or something. You can get those like $1 packs of the mini bars or things like that, or Hershey Kisses, things like that will fit really nicely in there. I did 24, and we do something every single day. It's really fun. You could stick to activity cards in there, anything from looking at Christmas lights to baking cookies to whatever. And keep in mind the themed crafts, if I'm really not, like if I'm busy or I'm not really up to it, it can be something as simple as a coloring page. So I don't go too elaborate or I don't try to worry too much about it being an extravagant craft, because, and some of the things that the kids do are independent. So one of the things is, we did have Christmas shopping as an option, but this year, because funds are tight, we're basically making homemade gifts for each other this year. We're going to focus on that homemade gift for each other, which I think the kids are actually more excited about than shopping. And so some of these tags are going to be like taking a day to just take some independent time to actually craft for other people as Christmas gifts. So You could also give these out as gifts. Like I said, they hold gift cards really well. You could put a gift card and a little bit of candy, or you could stuff money in there, of course. You know, like any kind of note, like encouraging note. Get creative. You can make them out of whatever colors you want. Like I said, you can make the body solid colored, or the top different colored, however you want to do it. You can make a bunch of these. I think they can take like 20 minutes without any of the extravagant color changes, 30 minutes if you're doing all of the fun color changes and stuff. You get faster at it the more you make these. And really, really fun. So I'm sharing this video with you now so that if it's something you'd like to do, you could make like 12 of these and do the 12 days of Christmas. You could display them all side by side or on a display. I think it would be really cool to have like a tiered tree display made out of strips of wood that are like sections of a tree kind of hanging off of each other. I think that would be really cool. And then just screw some hooks in them and hang these off of that. But what we do, because we have 24 stockings and we find it fun, is I put them all over the house and the kids have to find them. So what's really funny is they wake up on December 1st and there's stockings everywhere, and then they have to find the one for that day. And every day the kids take turns, the next person looks for the next stocking. And so what makes it even funnier is that they think they've got them all figured out and they know exactly where everything is. But every once in a while, I'll just mess with them a little bit and I'll change the position of the stockings up so that they wake up and they go, I know where it is. And it's that, not that one. What happened? This is a really, really fun tradition for me and my kids. And usually it only takes about like 10 minutes a day. Things like making gingerbread, of course, takes a lot longer. Things like looking at Christmas lights takes longer. But most of the themed crafts only take like 10 minutes, maybe a half hour at most. And if you ask my kids, it is their favorite part of Christmas. Not the presents, not the going to see family. They're like, we like the Advent stockings. We've been doing this for like about 5 years, give or take. And it's probably been one of the greatest things we ever done. I had wanted to do it for years and years and years. Finally started doing it about 5 years ago. And it's been a pure joy since. If you're interested in having these as a printable, I did save the PDF. Let me know. I can try to find a way to make that available to you guys. As of right now, of me making this video, I don't know what I'm going to do as far as these tags go, how I'm going to make these available to you guys. I don't think I'm going to sell them. I think I'm just going to make them available as a downloadable PDF. I might try to do that on my site. I haven't really done anything with my website because I don't know what I'm doing, and also I'm busy. So if I do that, keep an eye out in the description box below. Underneath the link to the pattern listing is going to be any information on how to access these tags. So if I make these available online for download, it'll probably be free, and the link will be somewhere underneath that listing link. So without further ado, let me show you how to make these really cute mini crochet Christmas stockings. So to get started, you're going to pick out your 3 colors. You can also do just 2. You could just make the body of the stocking one color and the cuff another color, or any kind of configuration you want. It's really entirely up to you. I'm going to do the 3 color option so you can see how the color changes work. So for this example, I'm going to be using this really cool green, this dark red, and black, just to be different. So with the first color, you can either do a magic ring or you can just do a regular slip knot. I'm going to do the regular slip knot option, but understand if you don't like doing it this way and you prefer the magic ring, you can. So, start with a slip knot and do chain 3. And into this first chain from a hook, you're going to put 7 double crochets into that chain. Some people don't like doing that, like working into that first chain, because it can be a bit finicky. So if you're one of those people who don't like doing that, you can simply do the magic ring, chain 3, and then do your 7 double crochets into the magic ring and then cinch it shut. But I'm going to do this because I actually prefer this in most cases. When I'm doing amigurumi, I like to do the magic ring, but with double crochets, I just work into the 3rd chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double crochets, and here's our first chain. Starting chain, we're going to go into the top of that with a join, and that's the end of the first row. The next row is very simple. Chain 2, and starting in this, whoops, when I tucked my yarn, it exploded everywhere. Starting in this next stitch here, we're going to put 2 double crochet in each stitch around. So just once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, and then 7 times. Then the last stitch that's left is the same stitch that's attached to the chain 2. So this stitch here goes to this chain 2. By the way, if you want to start with chain 3, that's okay. I just do chain 2 because that's just the way I crochet. And so we're going to put one stitch, one double crochet into this stitch, and then just join to the top of our chain 2 or 3. And that's all you need for this color for now. So I'm going to snip this color short and switch to red. So I'm just going to tie a simple knot here. I could carry the color up, but I don't feel like it because we will be using it again for the heel. So I'm just going to trim it and leave it be. And grab my new color to go into this stitch I just made here, this slip stitch, which is just before my knot, and just draw up my new red yarn. And then that's sort of like the first chain, although it tends to get kind of snug. So sometimes when I change color, I'll do a chain 3 instead of a chain 2. Because this will get pulled, and see how it almost disappears. It'll loosen up again. Anyhow, so for the next row, you're going to chain 3 or chain 2. The pattern says chain 3 because that's standard. That's considered standard. And you're going to simply double crochet one time in each of these stitches around and then join. So you're going to double crochet 15 times, which I guess it would have been beneficial to mention. At the end of your first row, you'll have 8 stitches. At the end of the second row, you'll have 16 stitches. And so because we're not increasing or decreasing at the end of this row, you will also have 16 stitches when we're done. So we're going to double crochet around 15 times because our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. So we're going to double crochet 15 times. Whoops. This weather change has got my voice all messed up and my throat feels funny. Should see my temperature blanket. It's hilarious. It's all kinds of colors. So when you're back to where you started, after 15 double crochets, you're going to join to the top of your chain 3 or chain 2, whatever you did, like so. Now what I like to do when I do color changes, because I'm paranoid and that's just how I function, is I like to just tie the tails together to secure it. So weep, snug, but not so snug that I completely warp the entire project. I double knot it, and then that way I can just sort of trim it back kind of short and it's out of my way. So I'm going to turn this back out and continue. So the next row, we're going to chain 2 or 3, depending on how you do it. I'm going to do 2. So 1, 2. We're going to double crochet in the next stitch. So not here, but here. Then we're going to single crochet 8 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That tail's getting in my way again. 7 and 8. And then what we're going to do is double crochet 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The tail got worked in. And 6. And by this point, it usually looks like you've got 1 stitch left, but you have to remember that goes to your chain 2, and so we're going to join to the top of the chain 2. This tail is driving me nuts. Get out of here, tail. Now, actually, what you should be doing is joining with your new color back to your heel color. So I'm actually going to do this slip stitch with my green again, but I'm going to leave my red yarn active. And I'm going to give myself plenty of tail on the green. and we're switching back to our toe color because we are about to do the heel. So we're going to do a chain 1, pull all of my tails a little bit more snug, and turn. So now we are working with the inside of the work facing us. What you'll see is here's where we joined. This is the stitch we joined to. So here's our knot and immediately this gap right next to it. We're going to single crochet into that same stitch. And then what we're going to do is double crochet 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we're going to single crochet in the next stitch. So we have the single crochet in the same stitch, 5 double crochets, and a single crochet, and then we're going to chain 1 turn. We're still going to keep this color. Whoop, my yarn got knotted up. This nonsense. Okay, so we're going to head back in the same direction we were originally working. So we've done our chain 1 turn. Into this first stitch, we're going to do a single crochet in that last single crochet we made in the row prior. Then we're going to double crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We have that 1 single crochet left, and you're going to see here when we do this last stitch, we're going to make our switch back to our body color, like the red color. So I'm going to pull this over to the side. I'm going to do a single crochet in the same spot where I did the last single crochet, but my final yarn over is going to be picking back up my original red color, like so. And now we're going to be continuing this row, working in the row 4 stitches. So this is row 5, and now we're on row 6, but row 6 is going to continue into row 4 down over here because we're going to continue around. And something to keep in mind is that when you work your next stitch, we are not going into here because this is this stitch here. We've already worked into that, so we're going to go into this next double crochet right here. So here's the double crochet, and the gap for it leans just to the right. So the next stitch is going to be a double crochet. We're going to double crochet into the top of this double crochet next with our new color, or really back to color A. And then we're going to single crochet 8 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whoops, 7, and 8. Now when we get back to where we started, you'll see we began row 6 right here, because remember we did a chain 1 turn and we began here. And so here is our first single crochet of row 6, and we're going to join to the top of that. So here's the first single crochet. We're just going to slip right in there with a slip stitch to join. And now, while we were working each new row on this side, we're going to start each new row now on this side of the stocking. And before I continue, I'm going to snip this green off because I don't need it anymore for the body of the stocking. And I'm going to tie those tails together and snip them short like I did before, because otherwise they will get in my way and drive me absolutely nuts. Pick back up my loop, and we're ready to continue with row 7. From here, it's actually pretty simple because row 7 through 10 is simply chain 2 or 3 and double crochet 15 times, then join to the top of your chain. So just like row, what was that? Row 3, I believe. So chain 2 or 3. Remember, this is the stitch you join to right here. So we're going to start in this next stitch here. We're going to double crochet 15 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and you'll see this last stitch here goes to the chain 2 that we started with. We're going to slip stitch to the top of our chain 2. And we should have 16 stitches around again. And you'll see you now have a distinct heel and toe. So we're going to do that for a few more rows. That was row 7. We're going to do it for 8, 9, and 10. So 3 more rows of just chain 2 and double crochet 1 time in each stitch around. That's 15 times, and then join to the top of your chain 2 or 3, which counts as your first double crochet, and therefore you have 16 stitches at the end of each row. So just do that until you get to row 10. And then we start the cuff. You could make this, I think I've done where I've made this 3 rows, I've done where I've made this 5 rows, and it kind of just depends on the look you're going for, because you can make this shorter if you prefer, or longer if you prefer. Another thing is that this is a pretty simple basic stocking in terms of the texture of this row, but this is a really good time if you want to add some texture to do something different other than these double crochets. You could add like a textured pattern if you want. See, this stitch goes to the chain 2, so we're going to join there. There's row 8. Now we're going to do row 9. And you can, if you would prefer the look of like single crochets here and you want a denser fabric and you could stitch into, go for it. You could do like the V stitches. You could also, if you're doing another option for this stocking is to do stripes. That would be really fun. You could make the toes different colors and then stripe the body, or, you just make the whole thing just every other row is a different color, and you would just carry your yarn up each row. That sounds kind of fun, actually. And then make the cuff whatever color you want. That actually sounds really fun. I might try that. There's a lot of options. This is just a really basic mini stocking, and from here you can really customize it however you want. So now we're going to do row 10, which is the last row of our stocking before we switch to doing the cuff. I really enjoy making these, and I'm thinking of making these. They actually hold gift cards like perfectly, so I might make some of these as gifts for my teenage nieces and nephews who are really just interested in money for Christmas anymore. And we're going to slip stitch here. And there is the body of our stocking. And we're ready to switch colors. So I'm just going to snip this color off because I'm officially done with red. Just tuck that tail in for now. Just get it out of the way. And now I'm going to make my cuff, believe it or not, black. Which I guess is not really good for this tutorial because black is pretty hard to see. So I apologize. Hopefully you can see this just fine. So I'm going to join. See, here's the knot, and here's that stitch right there, right before the knot. I'm going to join there. And I'm going to basically do the equivalent of a chain 2. You could do chain 3 as well. Then you're going to, for row 11, you're going to do this in color C, whatever your cuff color is. We're going to double crochet 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you'll see we're at the back of the work. Let me increase the brightness a bit so you can see a little bit better. Hopefully that stays that way. So we're at the back of the work. We're in this next stitch, we're going to put 2 double crochets. It's like, nope, I'm going to drop back down in brightness. There we go. Trying to figure out how to lock it. Okay, so 2 double crochets in that next stitch, and then we're going to double crochet 7 times. So 1, 2, sorry the exposure is ridiculous, 3, because I want to make sure you can see, and I don't know why I decided black was a good idea. 5, so I'm going to keep the exposure really high so you can see. 6, and 7. Whoops, not 7. 7, okay. And then into this next stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets in that one stitch. So there's our second increase. Now we have 2 extra stitches in this round, and then we're just going to finish with 2 more double crochet and then join to the top of our chain 2 or 3, whichever you did. So I'm going to join to the top here. Ta-da! Now for the next row, I'm going to chain 2, again you could do 3, and we're going to actually turn. And we're going to start not in the same stitch here, but in this next stitch. And what we're actually going to do is a back loop double crochet around. So we're going to be back loop double crocheting 17 times and then joining. So not here, but in this next stitch, because this here, these 2 gaps go to this like chain 2, and this gap is the next stitch. So I'm going to go into the back loop only and do a back loop double crochet 17 times. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, and then we should be back at our chain 2 or 3, and in which case we're going to join to the top of our chain 2, whoops, just like so. Keep facing the same way because that's going to be where our fold is, and so the inside is going to become our outside. So we're going to keep the work facing the same way. We're going to chain 2 or 3 and simply double crochet like a normal double crochet in each stitch around. So starting in this stitch here, see here's our you can see here's our first double crochet and it leans to the right. So we're going to go into our first double crochet here and double crochet around 17 times. So once we're back to the beginning, we're going to join to the top of our chain 2. So I've worked here, and what looks like this stitch here goes actually to this chain 2. Ta-da! We're done with the impossible to see color. So we're going to snip that off now. And I'm going to pick up, whoopsies, I'm going to pick up my green one more time. We're going to keep working from the inside of the work. I'm going to make a slip knot, put my hook on, come here. See, here's the stitch where I joined right here. There's the knot. It's this stitch immediately to the right. And I'm going to join with like a type of single crochet. And then I'm going to reverse single crochet around. So in each of these stitches around, I'm going to do a reverse single crochet. So I'm just basically single crocheting like normal, but going backwards instead of forwards, working to the right instead of to the left. So I'm just going into the previous stitch, drawing up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now, when you do reverse single crochets, they tend to lean towards you. Like the bulkier, prettier side of the reverse single crochet tends to be the side facing you, which is why I have what looks like the inside of the work facing me, because this cuff will fold over and what's on the inside will be the outside. And so I want the prettier side of the reverse single crochet to be facing me. And that's why I'm not working like this, I'm working like this. So you're just going to put one reverse single crochet in each of the 18 stitches around, cut, and then tie. If you don't like reverse single crochet, or you can't do it, or you're not in the mood, you can also just do a regular row of single crochets, and it can be in the same color as the cuff, or whatever color you want it to be. Yeah, I like to do the contrasting colors. I'm going to work back into this stitch, and then cut and tie. I'm going to be excessive and tie this in too. Fold the cuff down. Now the only other thing left to do, let me unlock there we go. The only thing left to do at this point is to add a little hanging string, which does not have to be anything fancy. I just grab a length of yarn about 6 to 8 inches. You can also do a chain if you want. That would work too. I find the back of the inside bottom row of the cuff. See these 2 double crochets and a V there. I basically grab them underneath there, thread the yarn through, and just tie a loop. So and then you can trim off the excess, spin that around so that the knot stays inside. Just kind of pop that in. There we go. Ta-da! There's a stocking. I hope that using the black yarn didn't make this too tricky on you. I'm really sorry about that. I didn't even think about that. Should have just done a different color. So that's all there is to it to make these stockings. I hope that the dark color wasn't too hard for you to see. I apologize if there's anything in this pattern that you found confusing or want me to do slower. Just let me know. I can make a YouTube short for you or something like that to show you in better detail and break it down for you. It can be, the trickiest part of this pattern is the fact that it does kind of randomly change directions and you have to know which stitch to work into. But for the most part, I think it's relatively easy. That might be the trickiest thing you come across. And like I said, these work up pretty quick. So I hope you enjoyed this pattern. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching and for your support. I really love making this kind of content for you guys. I just don't have as much time to make as much as I would love to make for you guys. But thank you so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me. It helps me out. Even if a little, it helps me out. And by the way, if you make any of these, by all means, find me on social media. On TikTok and Instagram, I'm Pamela. You can find that in the description box below too. You can tag me on social media if you make any of these stockings, give them as gifts, whatever, or, you know, or if you just get real creative with it. You really can do a lot with this pattern. You can take this basic pattern and do all kinds of really fun stuff with it. So if you do, I'd love to see your creativity. I love seeing when people post these kinds of things. So absolutely tag me if you do anything like that. So thank you so much for watching. Again, I really, truly, it means a lot to me. I hope you guys have a lot of fun crafting for the holiday season coming up and have a blessed day.